Buongiorno everyone and welcome back to lineup predictions. Welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're new or if you haven't already. Morecambe away tomorrow in the League Cup third round at the Mizuma Arena. 7:45 kickoff. Morecambe all the way down there in League 2. They just got beat 5-0 at the weekend by Cambridge United. Stinker result that, hopefully that puts us in good stead for this game. Our under-23s on loan goalkeeper Jake Turner is their goalkeeper. He played that game and conceded an own goal. It was a little bit of an unfortunate goal. Shot came in, hit the post, bounced back off his back or his head and went in the net. So now what you can do about those. A win in this one will see us through to the fourth round against either Newport or Watford, which might be a bit of a tricky game. We haven't really had the best of results against those in the past in the Premier League, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Brucey confirms this morning that Sir Maximin and Jamal Lewis will both be out. Hopefully, Maxi especially will be back on Sunday against Tottenham, but Lewis is still a little bit of a doubt. He can't see out of his eye. It's completely closed up. It's not as serious as first thought, but we'll have to keep an eye on him. He might have to sit out on Sunday against Tottenham, but both will definitely be out for this game. Paul Dummett and Fabian Schär are back in training this week, but probably still a little bit too early to include them tomorrow. Unfortunately, because we could do with some extra centre-backs, if one of them could at least come back for the bench, that would probably help out, because this prediction's been hard. I've been chopping and changing over the last few days, penciling different ones up. I've been putting in a few of the youngsters, but it's unfortunately highly unlikely that any of the youngsters will be called up to the first team. They've got 2 games this week. One tonight against Shrewsbury's first team in the AFL Cup, and they've got their own league game against Burnley under-23s on Friday. So it's unfortunate, because I would have, yesterday before I realised these fixtures, I had the likes of Dan Langley on the bench. I might have even started Ludwig Francelet. Jack Young would have been brought in probably for the bench. But I think particularly at centre-back and full-back and striker, I've been struggling to at least fill in the bench, so I would have loved to have seen the likes of Oisin McKenty, Ryan Barrett, Ollie Walters, Elias Sorensen, Adam Wilson or Yannick Toure brought in, at least one of them, just to help out really. But now I understand that they've got 2 games in the space of 4 days, and it's highly unlikely, unfortunately, because we've still got, well, Dummett and Schär are back in training, but as I said, it's unlikely that they'll play. But we've still got Matty Longstaff, Dubravka, Gale, still a handful of players out now. With Sir Maximin and Lewis, we're even shorter. And this reiterates the fact that we still need 1 or 2 more bodies in before that West Ham game. A lot of people were happy with the squad, with the signings that we'd made, but we definitely still need a couple more bodies in. It's definitely fullbacks. 1 more centre-back, I would say, and a striker. We need to start filling up the team, but there's just so much dead weight that we need to get rid of first. I've got 1 or 2 of them in my team that I don't want to be there. 1 or 2 of them even played last week against Blackburn. Didn't want to see them there, but they did. I understand that DeAndre Yedlin should be on his way out. I heard that Blackburn was going to be his last game, but a week later he's still here. And if he's still here, then he might as well be included, even though he's been absolutely shocking since the restart, the Blackburn game included. He's probably going to have to play if he's still a part of the team, or if Besiktas or whoever he's like to be going with haven't made a final offer for him yet. So I'll jump into my team. As I say, I'm not convinced by this. I wouldn't necessarily be playing this team. I'll talk you through the ones that I don't necessarily want to be there. We'll go with Mark Gillespie in goal. I think that's pretty much a given. Darlow probably to the bench, even though I would have liked to have seen Dan Langley brought up and put on the bench for a little bit of first team experience, just travel with the team. At right back, Emil Kraft. I know he played centre back there the other day, which is probably where he's going to be playing, if I'm being honest with myself, with Yedlin starting, but there's no way in hell I'd be doing that. I'd be putting probably Lascelles and Clark beside him. Again, Lascelles, I don't really want to be there. Not just because he was shite the other day, but I think because he is the captain, he is first team player. I think he needs a rest, same with Fernandez. But with Sharon Dummett still not being back, Francolet and McKenty playing for the under-23s, someone's got to play there. That's why I'm expecting probably Yedlin to start with Kraft at centre-back, but I really, really don't want to see that. I'd rather have Lascelles there than Yedlin. So that's why I've gone with that. And Clark, obviously, he needs more minutes, and he was absolutely fantastic. My man of the match against Blackburn last week. And left-back, I'd probably put Matt Ritchie. With Lewis being out, and Manquillo has played, including the Brighton game, he'd played 3 games in 8 days. So I don't want to see Manquillo anywhere near this team. He started left-back against Blackburn. But nah, I don't want to say Manquillo deserves a rest. We've got a bigger game on Sunday against Tottenham, so give Manquillo a rest. Richie's got the experience and probably the quality to play against a League 2 opposition to fill in at left-back. So yeah, I definitely want to see Richie at left-back. Clark in as well. Kraft, hopefully at right-back, but it's just that centre-back spot that it's got a big void in. It's either got to be Lascelles, Fernandez or Francolet, or maybe a surprise start for Shaw or Dummett, although I doubt it. At centre mid, the same 2 lads that started against Blackburn, Barlassa and Sean Longstaff. Decent game for Barlassa again last week. I think he deserves another shot. League 2 opposition, much easier. He had a successful loan spell in League 1 last season, and he was in League 2 the season before. So I think this is a good opportunity for him to finally show what he's about. He was hit and miss against Blackburn. I think first half not so good, second half he finally started to get into it. But Sean Longstaff, he needs to up his game. He was poor all last season. He was poor in the Blackburn game. League 2 opposition needs to pull something out of the bag here. I was tempted to put him as a number 10, because that's where he's been best. Even Oxford last season in the replay in the FA Cup, I thought he had a really good game. He was great in the number 10 role for the half an hour that he played against Bournemouth before getting taken off. But there's not really any centre mid option that I would be really happy playing. Don't want to say Hayden or Shelvey. Potentially Jeff Hendrick, but I think he's going to be one for the bench, as he was last week as well. So stick with them 2 lads. Miggy in the middle, in the number 10 role. He's been brilliant since the start of the season. I thought he had a very poor pre-season, but the little substitute appearance that he made against West Ham, he was fantastic, got an assist. He was brilliant for the 90 minutes against Blackburn last week, got an assist, the winner. And he was brilliant in the 45 minutes that he played on Sunday against Brighton. The only one that actually really put an effort in. So he'd be one that I'd be tempted to rest with Tottenham in mind on Sunday, because I think Brucey needs to change that team. It worked first week. I thought it might have worked second week, but it quite clearly didn't. So he needs to go back to the drawing board, reevaluate things, and probably start Miggy. Maybe with just the one striker instead of playing Caroline Wilson up top against Tottenham. Bring Miggy in for that one. So maybe start him for this one, because he still needs a few more minutes in the legs, although he's probably got more minutes than any of the others really. But probably not play him the 90 minutes. Hopefully, as it's Morecambe, no disrespect to Morecambe, we can have a comfortable lead going into the second half. Hopefully we can be 2-3 goals up by the hour mark. So take Miggy off, stick anybody else in. It shouldn't really matter by that point. Hopefully we can hold out that lead. And probably the same with Ryan Fraser. I'd be starting him on the left. He played more than he probably should have at the weekend. He was probably just there to fill up the numbers, maybe play 20-30 minutes on Sunday. But with the injury to Sir Maximin, he ended up playing about an hour, same as what he did midweek. So yeah, he's another one that I'd like to start, because minutes in the legs, definitely needs some. Still not fully fit. I think you could tell that on Sunday that he wasn't ready to play a Premier League game of that high intensity, coming in at 2-0 down as well. We're up against it the second he stepped onto the pitch. He started off really, really brightly, but as the game petered on, you could see that maybe that fitness still isn't there. So I'd still be starting Fraser, the match winner from last week, but with the intention of him not playing anywhere near 90 minutes, about an hour again at best. So that's going to be 3 hours that he's going to be getting played of through over about a week. So I think that'll do him. Then probably bench him against Tottenham as well, with, again, the intention of playing 20-30 minutes. But we might need him, depending on where Sir Maximin is. If Sir Maximin's not fit, then Fraser might have to start on Sunday. So we need to be very, very careful what we do with both Fraser and Almiron. Don't want to overwork them. Brucey says they need game time. Yes, they do, but maybe they're actually playing more than what they need to with a big game like Tottenham coming up. On the right-hand side, I'd like to see Jacob Murphy. I think he deserves a shot. I think he was brilliant in pre-season. He did all right last week when he came on, just didn't really get enough involved. I think he only got about 20 minutes, something like that. So yeah, I think Murphy definitely deserves a shot, especially with Sir Maximin being out. See what he can do. This is his opportunity. I think between him and Dan Barlaser, I think they need to prove that they're going to be part of this first team, because Brucey might have one eye on sending them both out on loan. Particularly Barlaser, as we've got 5 other centre mids there, so it might not be entirely necessary for Barlaser to be in the squad. Maybe needs a little bit more experience going out on loan. But with Murphy, I think there's a spot there for him. We do need another winger, and Atsu isn't it for me. Hendrick's done all right filling in, but is that his long-term position? I'm not so sure. So yeah, Murphy, get him a start. Maybe give him 90 minutes, see what he can do. Hopefully he can be a match winner. He can be one of the best players on the field, really, really fight and prove to this club why we signed him, and to the club that he supported as a boy. This is his team, he supported them. His dad's from Ashington, so I want him to see, I want him in, I want him to prove himself, I want him. And up top, this isn't what I would do personally, but I can see it happening. We'll be putting Joelinton on up top. Didn't cover himself in graces last week against Blackburn. He didn't do that against the League One opposition in Rochdale away last season in the FA Cup. But again, this is another opportunity for him. He's not really going to be full of game time this season. If we can keep the likes of Wilson and Carroll fit, as well as Fraser. If Murphy comes in, that's going to be more opposition out wide, which is another position that he's good in. Number 10, Almiron's pretty much got that spot. So Joelinton in these kind of games needs to prove it. I don't want to see him putting the ball out into MORECAMBE. He needs to be putting a couple of balls in the back of the net and showing what he can do as a striker. Because that might be the only position where Brucey might play him. Like, we all know that's not his position. But I think he might struggle to even get into one of the other positions. Like, left's probably where he's best. Maybe he's even in the hole as a number 10. But the competition there, it's better than what he has to offer at the minute. So wherever he plays, if he's going to get a start, he needs to pull it out the bag and prove to Brucey why he deserves to be in this team. And this is an opportunity for him. We haven't got a great lot of option as a striker. As I said, I would have liked to have seen the likes of Sorensen, Wilson, or Toure in. That's Adam Wilson, but that's unlikely. So one of the main strikers, Callum Wilson or Andy Carroll, is probably going to have to be on the bench to support them. Don't really want to see any of them brought on. But if Joelinton's not putting the ball in the back of the net and we're struggling, as it probably is going to be the case, should be an easy win, but it's never that easy for Newcastle. I can totally imagine we're being in about 80 minutes and still being at 0-0, having to bring Callum Wilson on to finish off the game. I'll quickly run through the bench that I've got penciled up. Not that I agree with any of it, to be honest with you. Carl Darlow, yeah, I would have preferred to see Dan Langley there, but it's unlikely. Yedlin, I don't really want in the team. I think the sooner we can ship him off and get him to Besiktas, the better. Although I can see him starting in place of Lascelles. Fernandez, I don't want on the bench. I think either Fernandez or Lascelles has to go on the bench if Yedlin starts. Likely Lascelles as the club captain. I think for that experience, then I'd probably rather have Lascelles there and give Fernandez a break. Isaac Hayden, I probably would have preferred to see Jack Young in there instead of him. Jeff Hendrick, I would put on the bench. He was an unused sub last week against Blackburn. Could provide cover at either centre mid or right wing if we need him to. So yeah, I would have Jeff Hendrick in there. I think he might be one that we might be looking to drop against Tottenham as well. So he could maybe still do with getting some minutes in. Atsu, I don't really want anywhere near the team either. He's another one that I would like to sell, but Brucey actually brought him on. I was quite surprised to see him even on the bench against Blackburn, but he got on. He got like 10 minutes or something. I didn't see that one coming at all, but while he's still in the team and while we're struggling for options, might as well chuck him on the bench. And as I said, Wilson, I don't necessarily want on the bench, but we're going to have to fill it up with someone. I don't even know who. Like last week, we didn't even have a striker on the bench. It was Sir Maximin was our striking option. But without him there, it's going to have to be Wilson or Carroll, unless we bring in one of the youngsters. But with a game tonight against Shrewsbury, I don't see it happening. So I'd maybe put Wilson on the bench just to fill up the spot. Hopefully we don't need him. Maybe we can bring him on with 10 minutes to go if we need a hero. But hopefully we should be comfortable enough, 3-0 up or something by that point, where we don't need to use him. Keep these legs fresh for Saturday. Same goes for Carroll if it's going to be him. I don't know. But yeah, that bench I'm not very happy with at all. But we haven't got the options. That's why I wanted one of the youngsters in. But you can't help the fixtures clash. It's not our fault that the under-23s have got 2 games in a week. So it is what it is. Hopefully maybe Shaw or Dummett can come back and get a spot on the bench. Probably not use them again if necessary. But that's why we've got the substitutes there to use. We don't want to just fill it with players that we don't want to bring on. They need to be there to come on if we need help. If someone gets injured like we did at the weekend. Newcastle's got a history of injuries. So yeah, Brucey says he's going to play the strongest team that he can, but also a lot of rotation. So I think that team is pretty much where I'd imagine his head being at, with the exception of maybe his Lascelles and Yedlin in the starting lineup. I don't know, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What will your team be? Keeping in mind the players that are injured and the under-23 is probably not going to get a run out. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Enjoy the game and enjoy yourself.